Yes, guys, I'm back. So I want to talk to you guys about something that is near and dear to me, and that is my children. That is no surprise. Like, I love my children dearly. They're like my besties. And but I got to thinking, like, they're adults, they're grown. But I was thinking about the decisions that I have made in my past. That not only conceived my children, however, even rearing them and raising them and all the things, me not listening to my father, like for certain things, because he's a man and, he used to school me on some things and, I would lead with love and, all that. And, you know, I'm now in a position where not only are my children are doing what they have to do to build their own legacy, I'm still working to build a legacy that I can lead them and bless them, even as adults. I don't have any grandchildren yet. However, I hope to have some someday. And I realize, like, in this day and age, my children are actually smart because they're like, well, I'm not about to bring children if they're not going to have the best life, the best version of life that I can give them, right? I've struggled a lot with my children. And to be honest with you, I thought it was just a part of motherhood, or it was a part of, like just the struggle, right? And that necessarily wasn't true. Like, I made decisions that caused me to be in a position to struggle with children. And this call to action that I'm speaking of, whether you have children or not, especially if you don't have children, I need you guys to make sure that you are positioning yourself with a mate that is going to ensure the best life outcome for your children. Now, mind you, you guys may get divorced, it may not work out, it may be all the things, but you have to choose someone carefully, because this is the person that you're going to not only probably co-parent with or raise children with. And if they're not thinking along the lines that these children needs to have the best outcome that life has to offer, then something's wrong, something's off. When I was growing up, it was a struggle, but it was a little bit simpler, like, 'cause sometimes I didn't even know that I was struggling, and when I mean struggle, I meant like I couldn't give my children the best, and the best for me would be their education, right? The best for me would have been their environment, It's not so much material things like, oh, do they have the latest sneakers and all stuff like that? Yeah, I was able to do that. I had a full-time job and I was able to buy them clothes and that name brand and all that. But I didn't position them in a way where, you know, they went to Harvard or they went to Yale and, and had a leg up in life where they could come out the gate and just be great in their careers immediately based off the schooling that they went to. Now, if I were to position myself, because my father did wanted me to marry someone else, and today this man is a global millionaire. Back then I didn't see the vision. I was like, oh, but I don't love him. I love him. You know what I'm saying? And it was just stupid. Like, I think back, it was really dumb. But, so I think women are taking the rose-colored glasses off when it comes to romance. They put them on for themselves, which I think great, because you want to empower you to be the best version of yourself. And it start with how you speak to yourself. But the reality of the situation when you are involved with another person, they have free will too. And you can't impede on their free will. The problem is a lot of women, we tend to think we could change people. We think that we can we have egos too. Like, I'm so amazing. Why would this person not want to do the most for me? And they simply might not want to do the most for you or your children. So it's just really something to really, really think about. So if you're in the market for, you want to have a child, whoever your spouse is that you want to have this child, just make sure this person, like, have the conversation, like what school we want to send our kids to, if it's homeschool, whatever, but how do you want your children, like, I guess visualize, I'm able to manifest the things I manifest because I visualize it, I put myself in the picture. So visualize your children living a certain lifestyle. Don't worry about the money, don't worry about the dollar amount, because who you are looking at to procreate with might not have it like that yet, and that's fine depending on your age. I can't date for potential. I'm too old for that. I just can't, because I have more runway behind me than I have in front of me. However, if you're in your 20s, yeah, you have some time to figure things out, but I would at least have these countless conversations and say, like, hey, I went to a local college. I got this little basic job to pay my bills, and I probably make decent money, but I want my children to have these sort of opportunities, right? And then whatever that looked like, see if you guys are on the same page, because they will tell you. We just have to listen. They will tell you, whether it's in silence or if they get excited, like, yes, my baby needs to go to Harvard. They would know if they want their baby to go to Harvard, they got to start saving now. They got to start building now. They got to start positioning themselves now, or yes, I want my son to take over my company, and have these conversations. The problem is we have them too late. When we start asking for things after the fact, because we're assuming that they already know what to do. We're assuming that they on the same page with us, and we didn't even communicate any of that prior to getting pregnant. And if you already have children, you could still have this conversation with them, because maybe this will be new, and be like, oh God, would it be great if our junior can go to XYZ and have these opportunities in life? And that would start probably motivating them, because now there's a goal, right? Or the next person you are with, you can now set your criteria of if this person is going to be able to be allowed in your life or not, based off your standard for your children. Not just you, your standard for your children. Because sometimes our standards could be very bare minimum for us. But for your children, and you want your children to have the absolute best, you either going to do it yourself, or if you are going to partner with someone, y'all need to be on the same page. And so you may not date a guy that already have a bunch of small children, only because that, not that anything's wrong with it, but it's just that, how is he going to be able to give my children the lifestyle? They're not even his. Over his children, he still has to figure that stuff out. So this is things that you would probably say, nah, I'm gonna pass. I don't want to do any of that with you, because according to what I'm trying to do, it won't match up. Like, we won't get there, based off my goals for my children. And that's something that I wish that I would have kind of took very, very seriously. And like I said, my children, they're great, but they would have been so much better off if there were things already in place for them. Like, I had no problem with nepotism. Things that were already in place. Like, if I had a company that they all can work for, and, become the CTO, CFO, and all these things on my company, I don't have that, and I got emotional the other day just even thinking about it, because I was like, wow, I had so many years to make things happen, but I'm chasing this fairy tale, and it literally just kind of, it diverted me. Now I'm serious. Now, I'm not saying it's too late, but imagine if I had 20 years head start, or 30 years head start. Where would we be as a family, as a legacy that I'm leaving for my children? So I'm building it, but if you're in your early 20s, 30s, all that stuff like that, start today. Start thinking like that and start having the conversation. Don't assume that your spouse, it's nice if they came along and say, okay, this is what we need, da da da, and you don't have to think about it. But sometimes the women have to lead that charge and say, okay, this is important, and these are my non-negotiables, not only with yourself, but these are my non-negotiable when it comes to my children or their future. And you will find that you will start making decisions based off who gets to be in your life, based on how aligned you guys are when it comes to those standards. So I just wanted to jump in here and give you that, because like I said, I thought about it, and man, I wanted to just punch myself in the face because I was like, wow, I really had a lot of opportunities to think like that, and I didn't. I even was in a relationship where he thought like that. He put my kids in private school, but when the relationship was over, of course they had to, I couldn't afford it, but if I probably would have thought long term and been like, okay, well, my kids are benefiting, I probably would have stayed, or at least been a little more strategic when I was getting money, instead of just spending it on things and that's going to diminish in value. I could have started invested in the stock market, and also like, it's so many things, so many what if, should have, could have, would have I could have done to make sure that today I'm not just saying I'm building a legacy today. I could have had that head start 20 years ago. So hope this helped. Hope this guys get you to thinking. This is not like, okay, men are bad, all that stuff conversation. It's more about women just need to start being smarter, holding yourself more accountable, and then, being strategic and holding standards when it comes to you and your children or future children or grandchildren, and what they will have based off the decisions that you make today. So please remember to like, share, comment, hit the notification bell. I never know when I'm going to post. I do know that Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be no recording days for me, because I have a lot of things that I do have to catch up on, and just to rest, just to relax. I just need balance. I wanted to do this every single day to build my channel. However, because I have so many other things going on, that is not really feasible. It is taxing just to manage my life as is. So I'm going to give myself grace and say, okay, 4 days a week to bring some content to you guys, to let you know the inside of my brain of what's happening. It's great. And, we'll take it from here. If this becomes a full-time thing, then great. Dollars need to be attached to that full-time job, right? So once I get there, then great. But as of now, I just want to give you guys a heads up. So just want to say I love you. Continue to be great. Always strive to be the best version of yourself. And till next time, goodbye.